Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Anita, and I would like to present my presentation about my paper, which is about impact of Malaysian firms' characteristic on their firm performance, and the roles of integrated reporting. And this is my research background, which is the concept of financial reporting was already found around thousands of years, proven by ancient accounting records found in ancient civilizations. The financial reporting disclosure itself was already established since International Accounting Standard Committee Board approved the framework for the preparation and the presentation of financial statements back in July 1989. It is just common sense for stakeholders of firms to utilize financial statements as a means to create more informed and proper decisions in doing their business, or simply interest in analyze how well certain firms at conduct their daily activities based on the financial report that they disclose. In these days, there are a lot of times to develop most comprehensive non-financial reporting disclosure, which is such as GRI, SLSB, and IIRC and etc. And the problem with modern non-financial information disclosure is different from the mature financial information framework. The formal boundaries of scope of that limits what is considered as non-financial and vice versa is practically non-existent. And this is the feature of integrated reporting value creation. So you can see that integrated reporting is a process that results in communication, mostly visible, periodic integrated report about value creation of a short, medium, or long term. And the concept of value creation itself lies in the heart of IR, or integrated reporting. The value creation of IR is about explaining to providers of financial capital how an organization creates, preserves, and erodes value over time. This forms the foundation upon which investor and broader stakeholders groups make informed capital allocation decisions. And the value creation involves the organization drawing of various capitals as input into its business activities. These inputs are then converted into outputs which ultimately lead to outcomes in terms of effects on capital and stakeholder. And to facilitate the drawing of holistic integrated reporting, the integrated reporting framework puts forth 8 interlinking content elements to be included to an integrated report. These content elements are aligned to the value creation process of an organization that are expressed in the form of question rather than checklists, and it provides flexibility in telling the organization story, as you can see from this chart, value creation of integrated reporting. This framework and its amendment continue further to solidify the importance of financial reporting framework as more countries worldwide begin to create their own financial reporting standards while utilizing international financial reporting standard establishes. And this framework creates awareness about the importance of non-financial reporting disclosure and heavily influence other non-financial reporting frameworks as a result. It is considered fundamental to non-financial disclosure today. And this is the breakdown of integrated reporting adoption as of year 2022 by the region. As you can see from this table, Africa and the Middle East is one of the highest implementer of integrated reporting in their companies. And Asia Pacific is the second most used. The company in Asia Pacific is a lot of them use integrated reporting as well. Unlike any others such as North America and other Europe countries. Because to this day they still use sustainability reporting report that is separate non-financial disclosure to the financial disclosure. And this is the comparison between average return of equity of Malaysian firm list on Bursa Malaysia indicated. So you can see that the ROE kind of decrease as time goes especially in 2022 due to the COVID, to the pandemic, and it probably affect them a lot. And according to the data present, the average return of equity of Malaysian firm list on Bursa Malaysia has exhibited general downward trend from 2012 to 2022, despite some fluctuation. And this is the comparison between ROE and integrated reporting disclosure of Malaysian firm list on Bursa Malaysia. And as you can see from this chart, that it indicates that Malaysian firms start to notice the importance of discussing integrated report. And the growth of integrated reporting disclosure level of Malaysian firm has been shown to support the argument as shown in the previous table that Middle East and Asia Pacific is higher than the rest of the world, as shown in the previous first table. In short, the characteristic of firms influence the approach to IR disclosure by shaping its motivation and incentive for adopting integrated reporting. There are a lot of factors that needs to be considered as understanding way characteristic will affect IR will be important to minimize the asymmetry of the when formulating disclosure. And empirical research is needed to understand how integrated reporting disclosure mediates the connection between firm characteristic and performance. And this study will fill the gap in the Malaysian context by providing evidence on how integrated reporting affects the link between in firm characteristic and performance and cost equity and relevance. And this is the research question of this paper, which is to what extent the firm characteristics such as size, age, leverage, and liquidity affects firm performance of public firms listed in Bursa Malaysia. And this is to what extent firm characteristics such as size, age, leverage, liquidity affects the integrated reporting in public firms in Malaysia. And this shows to what extent the IR affects the relationship between performance, the size, age, leverage, and liquidity to the performance of the public firm in Malaysia. And while this is the research objective, as you can see that the objective of this research is to examine the correlation between the firm characteristic and the firm performance of public firms at Bursa Malaysia. And the characteristics consists of size, age, leverage, liquidity. And this is also one of the objectives, which is to examine the IR and the relationship between size of the firm, how they affect the firm performance of public firms listed at Bursa Malaysia. And the significance of study. This study could strengthen the general reader comprehension and insight of the issue. And the research could demonstrate how taking into account firm effect on economy, society, environment, and help integrated reporting assist sustainable development. And the findings might potentially influence the public discussion and awareness about the importance of the topic. And the study might also serve as a roadmap for future stakeholder engagement by showing how integrated reporting affects business performance. For managers, this report might offer insightful knowledge, and the research could demonstrate how taking into account the firm effects on the economy, society, environment, and helps integrate reporting assist sustainable development. And the insight might also serve as roadmap for future management choice by showing how integrated reporting affects business performance. And this is for the potential for shareholders and future investors. And this is the implication for Securities Commission of Malaysia and will provide knowledge for them. It will empathize the potential advantage for them to design new laws that might help, and the research might help the SGM better understanding to integrate reporting aids, sustainable development, and by taking account firms' effect on common economy, society, and environment. And it serves as guidance for them to for subsequent regulation and laws in the future. And for academic in accounting field deserve for us will get sustainable knowledge, of course, and the study called demonstrate how integrated reporting affects the relationship between variables and how and additional empirical evidence to existing corpus of literatures. And this is the scope of study. There are four independent variables to be studied as we list in here, which is firm characteristics, firm performance, and ROE as one mediating variable. And the companies used as sample in the study are limited for firms that is list and Bursa Malaysia that is from 2017 to 5 years ahead from 2017. And the structural equation modeling will be used as analytic tool for this research. And the operational definition, this definition of operational definition that will be used for this research. And there are clear, concise description of concept terms used for the situation to facilitate meaningful and standardized data. And this definition of integrated reporting is new framework that tries to combine from the firm activity from financial and non-financial perspective. And this is the definition of firm characteristic. As you can see that the characteristic is the capacity of firm to fulfill its short-term financial obligation. And this is firm performance. Firm performance can be conceptualized as degree how successful they are at achieving their objective. And in this context of the research, we will use return of equity as profitability measure for firm performance. And it refers as firm ability to generate earnings or profit from its operation. The voluntary disclosure theory, which holds that the decision about which element of integrated reporting to disclose the content on person in charge of professional judgment, and whether it is pertinent, voluntary disclosure theory can provide valuable insight into how the voluntary disclosure of information through IR can impact the relationship between firm characteristic and firm performance. And the signaling theory, which also one of the theory that will be used, posits that believes that managers have a range of options for communicating the quality of their company. And according to this theory, direct signals and indirect signals are two major categories into signals which will be subdivided. The signaling theory is initially formulated in order to rectify asymmetry of existing information in the labor market, but it has been applied to explain voluntary financial disclosure and their impact on companies, as it explains why a company might carry an urge to voluntarily disclose the information, capital market studies, and performance and external environment prospects. And to measure that, we will use content analysis method to measure integrated reporting in this paper, which is a form of checklist comprising discussion item and subsequent pursual of entire narrative to ascertain permanent disclosure. And this will allow both qualitative and quantitative analysis, and it helps researchers better understand the meaning of certain sentences of the research. And IR disclosure index, which is multi-dimensional index, was developed to comprise the content of the framework. Due to the lack of comprehensive index guide that developed by the international IR framework itself to explain the IR disclosure level. And this is the hypothesis development that we formulated for this paper. As you can see, the hypothesis one is about the relationship between firm characteristic and performance. The hypothesis two is about the firm characteristic and the positive correlation between each characteristic to the integrated reporting. And this is about the hypothesis three is about how the IR directly has correlation to the firm performance, while the hypothesis four is about how the relationship between firm characteristic and firm performance can be moderated by the integrated reporting.